President Trump nominates Amy Coney Barrett to the United States Supreme Court. The liberals go nuts. Big surprise. And the New York Times releases the president's tax returns. And the liberals go nuts. Can we just agree that liberals are nuts? So this is the big October surprise. This is the big Democrat hit job on the president because, early voting has begun, so you've got to have an early October surprise. So we're going to do it, toward the end of September. Trump's taxes. Well, you had years of claiming losses and not paying. And really, they think we care? They really think this is the thing that Trump supporters are going to be? Yeah, wow. A smart businessman who figured out ways not to have to pay taxes. You really think that's a problem for us? No. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this particular subject because we don't care. We don't care that a billionaire businessman made the tax code work for him. What we do care about is how are people who have been in Washington, D.C. their entire professional lives, have never really held any outside private type work before, how are they multi-millionaires on a public servant's salary? How does a Nancy Pelosi live in a multi-million-dollar mansion in a gated community? How is she worth $12 to $15 million personally? How is that possible? See, I like to see her tax returns. I like to see the tax returns of her husband. I like to see the tax returns of Joe and Hunter Biden and figure out how did they become millionaires. Well, we know Joe married into it, but how is that possible? Where is the outcry to see the tax returns of Bernie Sanders, the true socialist, who's there for the peasants and the workers, and yet he owns 3 houses, and his wife was a college president and embezzled funds from the college of which she served. See, those are the tax returns I want to see. I don't care about Donald Trump's tax returns. And now that we've got that settled, let's move on to the nomination and the leftist, unbelievable, unconscionable response to Amy Coney Barrett. You have Planned Parenthood, NARAL, the National Organization of Women, all coming out today and saying that she would be a turning back of the clock on equality. Really? See, I thought the women's liberation movement was all about letting women have the choice and the freedom to be the women that they wanted to be, not necessarily what some man thought they ought to be. So if a woman wanted to work outside of the home, well, she had the right to do that. If she wanted to work outside of the home and also have a family, well, she's an empowered woman. She can do that. You now have the left saying, how can she possibly be a mother of all those children and serve as a Supreme Court justice? Isn't that what feminism is all about? That you can have it all? And now we've got all these groups all of a sudden coming out of the woodwork talking about how atrocious it is that a white person has adopted black children. I mean, this is what we're getting from the left. And for years, it was the left who told us, you can't shame people like that. You can't shame white families for adopting black children or black families from adopting white children. What is the matter with you? And now we're going to do that to this Supreme Court nominee. And it all comes back to they're freaked out over her religion and what that religion actually means.
The conclusion one draws is that the dogma lives loudly within you. And that's of concern.
I'm sorry, did I miss something? Wasn't President John F. Kennedy Catholic and a Democrat? Isn't Nancy Botox Pelosi Catholic? She's always telling us that she goes to Mass and prays for the president. Well, she can't go to Mass now because she's basically made it illegal in the state of California working with Governor Newsom. But isn't she supposed to be just a darling, dear, faithful Catholic? Isn't Joe Biden Roman Catholic? They're having someone from their own faith trashed, tarnished, ripped, shredded by the lying legacy corporate corrupt mainstream media, and they say nothing, nada. And if they're such good practicing Catholics, how come we aren't making the same arguments about them, that they are allowing their Catholicism, their faith, to influence their decision making? Yeah, because again, their Catholicism is simply nothing more than it's lip service, so they can appear to be religious and keep all those good Irish Catholics and all those blue-collar Catholics on the East Coast in check and in the Democrat Party. They were posturing, they were posing, being what they thought they had to be to hang on to the Catholic Democrat vote. I hope you Catholic Democrats are watching the way that Amy Coney Barrett is being treated, the way they are trashing her family, the way they are trashing her faith. It's unbelievable. And of all people, Diane Frankenstein, who for 30 years had a spy from China working for her, and when the FBI finally realized, oh, this is like a spy, they gave her a tip, a warning, and she immediately fired him. Right. Did they give any tip to Donald Trump that the Russians were trying to infiltrate his campaign? Of course not. No. We had to use that as a soft coup to try to take him out of office. The only regret they're having now is they didn't just go through and have a hard coup. Now, moving on with all of this, as the weekend events have unfolded, and we are watching the left just completely lose it because they know they have lost the Supreme Court. The president needs to push forward. The Senate needs to make this confirmation happen. So, what did the Democrats treat us to all weekend long? Well, this so-called high-profile Republican who is now voting for Biden, Tom Ridge, the rhino former governor of Pennsylvania, is now going to vote for Joe Biden. Right, because, rolling out John Kasich at the Democrat National Convention, that was so effective. What could possibly be more boring than John Kasich? Tom Ridge from Pennsylvania. Oh, Cindy McCain, the wife of dead traitor to the country, John McCain. She came out. She's going to vote for Biden. Wow, we have all these so-called military leaders going to vote for Biden. Wow, members of the military-industrial complex. You do understand that the far left fraction of your party and those that tend to lean socialist aren't going to exactly be persuaded to vote for your guy Biden as members of the military-industrial complex line up to vote for him, to endorse him, because he's going to guarantee them a war with Syria. We don't need to really be at war with Syria. It doesn't matter that it was actually ISIS or whatever radical fringe group you want to call the so-called Syrian freedom fighters, who were actually ISIS, funded by us, the CIA, at the bequest and direction of the traitor to the country, the late and finally dead, and is going to stay that way, John McCain. Didn't matter that they actually gassed those people and tried to blame it on Assad. We just want to do another regime change because those always work out so well for us. And Biden will give the military-industrial complex yet another war, another endless war, a way for them to make money and create yet a greater wealth disparity. And again, that has nothing to do with the policies of Donald J. Trump. These young people out there that are screaming he's a homophobe, he's a xenophobe, he's a racist, he's a sexist, he's this. And some of them happen to be members of my own family. I keep asking this one simple question. Name me the policy that he has actually enacted that's racist. Name me the legislation that he has put forth that has somehow been, quote, homophobic, that has stopped women in their progress of equality. Name me the policies. Name me the things that he's done. Well, they can't. All they can do is refer to things he's tweeted or comments he's made or things that they misunderstand and take out of context, because we have such a dainty society today. Just these bunch of just snowflake little pussy cats who just get their feelings hurt at the drop of a hat, who are all into liberal privilege, which is a lot like white privilege, only it's not, because there is no white privilege. It's, this whole thing of liberal privilege. It's this, I'm a liberal and you can't say anything that offends me or disagrees with me or makes me triggered. You can't say it. That's liberal privilege. That we have to live in this society which, we dumb everything down, that anybody can be any gender they want to be and flip and flop back and forth because that's normal. And if you say anything else, you're judging, and you're not supposed to judge me, and Jesus wouldn't judge me. Oh, shut up. Honestly, I get so caught up in listening to their insanity, I find myself getting stupid. And I can't fix stupid, and I can't fix their asinine insanity. Just can't do it. Can't do it. What I can do is try to stem the tide by saving the country right here, right now, by not letting these libloons actually gain control of the White House, which is exactly why that this whole conundrum that I don't like the way Trump says things, but you love his economy when it's allowed to work and we aren't being scared into quitting our jobs and staying home and wearing masks all day because Fauci wants us in a full body condom. Enough. 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 And if that wasn't bad enough, why now even the liberal left, i.e. the Black Lives Matter white liberals, how dare Charles Barkley state the obvious about Breonna Taylor?
This one was, I don't think it was like George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery and things like that. And I just feel sad that this young lady lost her life. But I am worried that we lump all these situations in together. And I feel just bad the young lady lost her life. But, we do have to take into account that her boyfriend did shoot at the cops and shot a cop. So like I say, even though I'm really sorry she lost her life, I don't think that we can just say we can put this in the same situation with George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery. I just don't believe that. I hear these fools on TV talking about defund the police and things like that. We need police reform and prison reform and things like that. Because you know who ain't gonna defund the cops? White neighborhoods and rich neighborhoods. So that notion they keep saying that, I'm like, wait a minute, we just gonna leave, who are black people supposed to call? Ghostbusters? When we have crime in our neighborhoods, we need police reform. But like I say, white people, especially rich white people, they're always gonna have cops. So we need to stop that defund or abolish the cops crap.
Sorry, gang. She's not an angel. She's not innocent. And he's absolutely right. The more they scream and yell and burn stuff down and start riots, you're lumping all of this together and you're losing not only the argument, you've lost the narrative, you've lost the cause. It's over. It's done. Only 30% of Americans now will identify with the phrase Black Lives Matter. Way to go. Way to go, Black Lives Matter. Way to go. You have successfully alienated the people you shouldn't have alienated. Good job. Way to go. Way to funnel that illegal China money right into the Biden campaign. Way to go. Woohoo. Yeah, there you go. Debate's coming Tuesday night. That ought to be fun. I'll have more to say about that in another monologue.